What if a single act of sincerity could change your entire life? This is the story of Jabir, a poor young man who had nothing but faith and a sick mother to care for. Every day was a struggle, every night filled with worry, yet he never gave up. When life pushed him to the edge, he made a choice that most people wouldn't dare to make. A dangerous journey, a mysterious old man, and one small coin. Could that really change everything? Stay till the end, because this story will show you how blessings come in ways you never expect. In a quiet village far from the noise of the world, where life was simple but full of hardships, lived a young man named Jabir. His days were filled with struggle, and his nights with silent prayers. With no one by his side except his sick mother, he carried responsibilities far greater than his age. Poverty surrounded him, yet hope still lived in his heart. He believed that one day his life would change, but he never knew that his patience, his sacrifices, and his sincerity were leading him toward a moment that would transform his destiny forever. Long ago, far away from busy cities and crowded markets, there existed a quiet and forgotten village surrounded by dry lands and endless silence. Life there was simple, but for many, it was also full of hardships. In this small settlement lived a young man named Jabir. Jabir was not like others his age. While young men around him dreamed of comfort and enjoyment, Jabir's life revolved around responsibility. He lived in a small, worn-out house with his elderly mother, who had been suffering from a serious illness for many years. She could barely move and spent most of her time lying on a fragile bed, her body weak but her heart full of love for her son. There was no one else in their home, no relatives to help, no support system to rely on. Poverty had wrapped itself tightly around their lives, leaving Jabir with no choice but to work day and night. Every morning before sunrise, he would step out of his house, carrying the burden of responsibility on his shoulders. He worked as a laborer, doing whatever job he could find, lifting heavy loads, digging, carrying, building, anything that could bring a few coins home. But no matter how hard he worked, his earnings were never enough. They barely covered food, and even that was sometimes not sufficient. Medicine and proper treatment for his mother were nothing more than distant dreams. Despite all of this, Jabir never complained. Deep inside his heart, he carried a quiet dream. He wished for a day when his mother would stand on her feet again, smiling without pain. He dreamed of building a small but beautiful home where she could live comfortably. And like any young man, he also dreamed of one day starting a family of his own. But every time he looked at reality, those dreams felt far away, almost impossible. Still, Jabir held on to one thing: hope. He believed that Allah's mercy was endless and that no situation remained the same forever. Every day, he went to work with two of his close friends. They supported each other through long hours of labor and shared whatever little they had. Jabir would leave early in the morning and return by sunset, exhausted but determined. At home, his mother would always be waiting for him. Even in her weak state, she never forgot to raise her hands in prayer for her son. Her prayers were not ordinary words. They came from a place of deep love and faith. She would say, "My son, may Allah give you sustenance filled with blessings. Even if it is little, let it be enough. May your rizq always bring peace into your life." These words brought comfort to Jabir, but sometimes his youthful thoughts led him in a different direction. He believed that what he truly needed was more money. In his mind, wealth was the solution to all problems. He thought that once he had enough money, everything else, including blessings, would follow. But life has a way of teaching lessons in unexpected ways. As time passed, the situation in the village grew worse. Work opportunities began to disappear. Fields dried up, businesses slowed down, and labor jobs became rare. For the first time, Jabir faced days when he returned home empty-handed. The pressure increased. On one side was his sick mother, depending entirely on him. On the other side was the harsh reality of having no income. Nights became restless. Jabir would lie awake, staring into darkness, lost in thought. Fear slowly crept into his heart. What if he failed? What if he could never give his mother the life she deserved? But every time such thoughts appeared, something inside him pushed back. A voice reminded him, "This is a test, and tests are given to those who have the strength to endure them." Eventually, Jabir realized he had to make a difficult decision. He could either stay in the village and struggle with limited opportunities, or take a risk and travel to the city for work. The city promised more jobs, but also came with challenges, distance, danger, and higher living costs. After thinking deeply, he made a plan. He decided that he would travel to the city every day, work there, and return home by night so he could still take care of his mother. During the day, a kind woman from the neighborhood would check on her. When he shared this decision with his friends, they were shocked. "Do you understand how dangerous this is?" One of them said. "The journey is long, and returning at night is not safe." But Jabir's answer was simple and firm. "I can face any hardship for my mother." And so, a new chapter of his life began. Every day, he walked long distances, worked tirelessly in the city, and returned home late at night. His body grew weaker, but his determination only grew stronger. Despite exhaustion, he never forgot his connection with Allah. After work, he would often visit the mosque, offering prayers and silently pouring out his worries. Those moments gave him strength to continue. Then one day, something happened that would change everything. As he prepared to return home from the city, dark clouds gathered in the sky. Within moments, a violent storm began. Heavy rain poured down, and strong winds made it almost impossible to see or move. His friends urged him to stay. "Wait until the storm passes," they said. But Jabir refused. "My mother is alone. I cannot leave her like this." And so, he stepped into the storm. The journey was terrifying. The roads were empty, the desert echoed with the sound of wind, and every step felt uncertain. At one point, he thought he might not make it. Then, through the rain, he saw something in the distance, a small mosque. He quickly made his way toward it and took shelter inside. There, in that quiet and isolated place, he encountered an old man holding a lantern. The man appeared calm, as if the storm outside had no effect on him. The old man performed his prayers, and afterward, he approached Jabir. "Why are you here at this hour?" he asked. Jabir respectfully explained everything, his struggles, his mother's illness, and his journey. The old man listened carefully, then smiled. "What you are doing is not ordinary," he said. "Serving your mother with sincerity is one of the greatest acts of worship. Never lose this sincerity." Before Jabir left, the old man gave him a small bottle of medicine and a single coin. "This may seem small," he said, "but it carries blessings. Use it wisely." Jabir accepted the gifts and continued his journey home. What happened next was beyond imagination. Within days of taking the medicine, his mother began to recover. Slowly, her strength returned, and soon, she was able to stand and walk again. It felt like a miracle. Jabir was overwhelmed with gratitude. Later, when financial struggles returned, he used the coin to buy food. Inside a fish he purchased, he discovered a rare and valuable pearl. That pearl changed his life. He sold it for a large amount of money, enough to clear his debts, provide proper care for his mother, and build a comfortable life. But the greatest lesson came afterward. When he met the old man again, he was reminded that true success is not measured by wealth, but by sincerity, patience. Jabir finally understood. Blessings are not always visible, but they exist in ways beyond imagination. And sometimes, what seems small, a prayer, a coin, an act of kindness, can change an entire life. If you like this story, subscribe to our channel Hikayat Hub, press the bell icon, and don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you for your support.